Up, Cronulla, the boys in the black, white and blue. Up, Cronulla, name of the Sharks fit you. Sharks, Sharks, forever. Go out and play without fear. Now's the time to see good football, for the Sharks are here.
Hey there, welcome to SharkCast Pod, local derby edition. And we are the greatest team in the history of the world, but more importantly, in the history of the St. George and Sutherland Shires. Throw in the Illawarra for Brooksy as well. Sharks win 30 points to 18. It was a tough one, as you all would have seen. It wasn't perfect, but Sharks get the job done. There's a lot to talk about. Good, bad, indifferent. A lot to talk about. I want to hit the negatives. I want to hit the positives. Stick with us. We're hoping we'll have a special guest with us. If you would like to join the show, I can already see a young gentleman who wants to join the show, and we'll get to him shortly. If you want to join the show, hit the StreamYard link. It's in the comments on whatever application you're watching on, and you'll be able to get in pretty easily. You should be able to work it out. If you want to have your camera on, feel free to do it. If you want to have your camera off, feel free to do that. If you want to leave us a comment, we'll get to them as soon as we can. Sharks win 30 points to 18. I'm pretty happy, I got to say, because of the result and because of the desire and determination we saw in the second half. Very, very good second half. And whatever was said at halftime, and we'll try and get that information to you, it worked. This is the first game the Sharks have won when trailing at halftime. So that's another milestone this year. That's something they've failed to do all year long. So Sharks win 30 points to 18. I want to know who you liked. I want to know what impressed you. I want to know what you didn't like. And I want to know what we can work on. Big couple of weeks coming up. But we are only as good as our last game. Sharks win 30 points to 18. I had a lot of messages this week saying this game doesn't really matter because St. George aren't very good. And they're not very good, St. George Illawarra. They were up 18-6 and they blew it. But this game does matter because it's 2 points. It's a local derby. And it gives us confidence to move on to Brisbane next week. One game at a time. People are talking about Melbourne in 2 weeks. Nah. Brisbane is the next thing we will think about. And we'll get to that, I promise. If you are watching this and you want to tell your friends and your family to join in, send them the link. We're going to have a lot of fun because it's a derby and we won. Thank goodness. My year would have been wrecked if we'd lost the local derby, and we didn't. We got to win 30 points to 18. Some really remarkable performances out there. I better start putting up some comments. Steve says, up, up. Thank you, Steve. Lush says, bro, that game has triggered some serious anxiety issues for me. That was the most bipolar game I've seen from the team in years. It started okay, and then it went downhill pretty quick. And then second half I thought was pretty good. But yeah, you're not wrong there. I also want to give a shout out to the crew that support us at SharkCast, and that is Dyson Logistics, our friends at the Royal Motor Yacht Club, which would have been going off tonight in Port Hacking, and Jason Hawes, who is in the house. Jason Hawes, Crips and Crips Real Estate. So give all those people some love, as you can see on the screen below, or if you're listening on the audio, we love our audio listeners. So that's who is supporting us. Ghastly 10 says, thank God we swapped sides in the second half. It felt like that. Oh my God, AFB. Now, it's not very flattering when I look down here, I know, but I'm just going to look down here for some stats. Fanua Blake currently has 170 meters. He played for probably 65 minutes. He was remarkable. Just remarkable. Roger says, I know you and listeners may not like this comment, but Trindle has to run this team. Trindle was the difference in the second half. Look at the players in the field, they know. Well, I'll need to look at that a bit closer, Roger, but you're a good judge of the game and happy to hear from you about this. I thought that Trindle had the better game out of the two halves for sure. There were some messy moments all around, especially in that first half. You know, Will Kennedy was off his game, but he had a pretty good second half. And the guy we're not talking about is Blake Brayley, man of the match, and just superb. Super annoyed that Cam didn't play the ball properly because he deserved that try, but Blake Brayley was unbelievable. Steve says Trindle runs the team in the number 6 jersey. Now, I'm going to just throw to Ashley. So, Corey, stick with us, okay? Ashley's just on the road. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right, here we go. Here he comes. The man I've already seen today. We've taken
Mate,
the OG.
nothing but awesome. Nothing but
Ash.
awesome.
Now, where were you today? I can hear you. Where were you today in the facility?
I was with the Shark Cage, and it was an amazing atmosphere. Despite the first half we won't talk about, but the second half, much, much better. They held on, defended well, and well done. Very good second half.
We can talk about the first half, Ash. Tell me what you thought went wrong in the first half.
I mean, they were just not with it in the first half, obviously, as we saw, we didn't have much ball. We didn't seem to be wanting to be out there and stuff. But second half, we were just like dynamite. And, if we can play two halves instead of one half, that would be great.
I thought they started okay, and then it fell apart for probably, the last 25 minutes of the first half. And I thought second half was pretty comprehensive. I think they scored one try against us when we were down a man, but we did pretty good to get out of that. Now tell me about the Shark Cage, Ash. How was the Shark Cage?
It was good. A lot of people in the cage tonight, which is great. A lot of signs as well. It was good. It was good. Really good.
Awesome. All right. Well, appreciate you calling in, and
thank you. As an OG Sharkcaster, been a fan since day one, and always will be. You're the best.
Appreciate you very much. Take care.
Thanks,
Keep
Shinazzi.
listening when you
mate.
can. Cheers,
Will do,
buddy.
mate. Sharkcast, voice of the fans.
Thank you. That's old school. I like that. Haven't heard that one for a while. Voice of the fans. Now, while we have other people waiting, I cannot be rude. I'm going to throw to them. Here comes Corey. Now, Corey's making his second appearance within 24 hours. This is amazing. How you feeling,
what can
friend?
I say? Oh, relieved. That was very, very nerve-wracking. Look, we started off like a house on fire. That was the start was absolutely amazing, and then I just felt like that when we scored our first try, we thought, okay, we started pretty good, and then we just dialed down the effort a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what Fitzy had told the boys at halftime, but we come out like a second house on fire and just made the Dragons run out of fire. So
yeah, it's good. Well put. Our friend Jacqueline said, "Can we find out what was said at halftime?" We'll definitely try and do that. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Tell me who impressed you the most out there.
there's two that stick out for me. Blake Brayley, hands down, that was because I actually heard Joey Johns say that he wanted Blake Brayley to run the ball more.
Yep.
So I feel like that Blake was thinking, well, I've got to listen to one of the Immortals.
Sure.
He absolutely just tore the Dragons to shreds, and who can not say, but AFB, like, I was watching him closely, and I'm saying, is he going to have a break? Like, is he going to go off?
Yeah, I was saying to those around me that I think he's going to play 80, which I know is a ridiculous statement, but this was like at the 60-minute mark, and it's like, well, there's only 6 points in it, so I thought once they blew away from that 6 points, they'd get him off, which they did. So he was incredible. It's a shame that he has to do those sort of minutes to get us across the line. I thought, and I'm sure plenty will talk about it, I thought Oregon's first half was pretty disappointing. I thought his second half was really improved. Obviously, he had a rocket put up him. So there was some hope there. But I think AFB was there just to sort of make sure we got this one done. It was a must-win game. Tell me any negatives for you. What negatives have you got?
Just the ill discipline. I just really feel like that it's not necessarily like, you get those really, really dumb penalties, and then you get, this is going to sound really harsh, but the Mulatalo penalties.
Yeah.
There was just a couple of times where he had a few brain snaps, and I'm just thinking, if Mulatalo gets them out of his game, and a few of the other players don't lay down too long, I think we're going to be very, very hard to beat, because especially tonight when the Dragons got a couple of penalties, they were gaining meters. Yes, they didn't score some tries, but if you play against a Melbourne or a Canberra and you give away penalties, they're going to just play out in the field and score tries.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the big one for me.
Okay.
It's just the ill discipline at the wrong moments. I don't mind a couple of penalties close to the full time when we're winning and winning comfortably. Fatigue kicks in. But when the game's in the balance and you hold down for too long, that's when I get a bit frustrated.
Now, tell me how you're feeling as a fan based on the two past losses that we had. You saw what happened in the first half. Down a man, held them out mostly, came back to win after being down 12 points. Are you feeling a bit better about the rest of the season, or are you still a bit nervous? How are you feeling?
If we can get through next week unscathed with no injuries and win up there, I will say I'm a lot more comfortable. I'm just still a bit confused about how we get demolished by the Roosters, who apparently we had the better team.
Yep.
And then we go out on our home ground and get demolished by the Warriors, and then we put up that performance, which didn't start off like it started well, went down, we climbed back up. But I just want to know, why didn't we put up that gritty performance the last 2 weeks?
I think they definitely. Yeah, I think you're right. A few more wins under our belt, and then maybe we can start to dream like we were dreaming before. But I'm just super happy that, I know I go on about the derby a lot, so take that out of the equation. I'm super happy for the 2 points. Stick around in fifth. We have two pretty difficult games coming up, but at least there's some confidence back in the team. I think they'll definitely highlight what went wrong tonight, but I think there'll be a lot of positives which they can move on from and take that with them, because they're a bunch of athletes. They need to sort of be as up as they can be. They don't want to be down on their luck for going into Brisbane going, oh, gee, we only just beat the Dragons. It's like, no. You were down by 12. You were down a man. Everyone thought the year was over. You came back, you won in pretty good fashion in the second half. I think they'll carry that with them. And there is a lot to focus on, though. I thought the kick defense was a lot better. I thought that we attacked the kicks pretty well tonight. The kicking game was great, especially from Trindle. So a lot there to like. I'm just going to throw up a few comments while you're there. Corey, Daniel says we made the Dragons look like $1 million, and I sort of agree with that. NS said, any chance of the Brooks man joining in? Always look forward to the Derby app and a big fan of Brooksy. So Corey met Brooksy last night. So NS, in case you didn't realize, it was a very last minute thing, but we did a live show with Brooksy last night, which is on everywhere. You can go watch and listen. It was quite a riot. And Corey, who's with us now, made a cameo as well. I don't know if Brooksy will jump on tonight. He might. We've been texting quite a lot. So
Hope he does.
Lee Wee says, did you tell Bradley to run during the week? I'll give you the truth. Like whenever I see the guy, like I get along with him pretty well. He's not my friend or anything, but we get along pretty well. I always tell him to run. So I can actually say that I did, but that's not the reason that he did so well. Buckwheat says, against a very second-rate team who had 50 put on the last week, a pretty piss-poor first half. Best second half after such a best second half after such a bad first this year. So some truths there, brought it home nicely. I agree with all that. This is a great comment from Ghastly. He said Toby came in and shifted the momentum completely, and he absolutely did. Like Rudolph, we didn't speak about him. He was electric. He was awesome. And we saw late in the picture today that Atkinson was put down 18th man. Toby came in. We did hint on the show there'd be some changes. We weren't allowed to say what they were, but not that we knew 100% to be fair, but we did hint for people who were listening that there would be some changes to what you saw. So it was the right move. It was a great move. What did you think of Toby?
Yeah, I thought, because I was actually cooking my dinner at the time, like when I quickly checked the team and saw the late mail, and when I saw Rudolph in, I kind of thought, I'm hoping we haven't rushed him, because I know a couple of times, there's been a few times where we've rushed players back.
Yeah.
And I thought like he really helped turn the game a couple of times. It was weird. I felt like he had an impact, but I was actually talking to a mate of mine and he thought he was pretty quiet. But I said sometimes it's the quiet ones that I said sometimes it's the quiet ones that do all the work and they don't get noticed because they don't do the really smashing hits or they score a try. It's just the ones that do their job.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
and I don't mean to be rude to Daniel Atkinson, but I think that needs to end now. Like, you need to play.
It's not being rude, Corey, and it's not a personal thing. It's like, who's your best team? What format of a team do you want? I love 4 big forwards on a bench. I got that tonight.
Yeah.
I tell you what agenda I will be driving. I want Talakai to be a starting prop. Now, that can be laughed out of the building. That can be hosed down by people who know much more about the game than I do. I want to see it happen. Talakai, starting prop. He may not have 3 years of it, but I don't know. Give him a shot, because when he came on, he was terrific. I mean, if I look down at his stats, again, not a flattering shot, I apologize. If I look down at Talakai, he's at 100 meters off the bench, and he came off the bench pretty late. So super happy with that. Alf says Blake Island is alive and well. Absolutely, there was no doubt. But it's for all the proud residents on Blake Island. It's getting pretty crowded, which is great. It's going well. Chris says go Sharks. Our friend Kane from Dyson Logistics says we won, but we look lost. What an odd game. Yeah, I mean they look lost, Kano, in periods of the game, absolutely. But I thought second half was pretty good. Yeah. RCB says there he is. Daniel says, I put that one up already. Brayley was great. Luke says AFB was a monster. And he wants to ask this question, which I know you can answer, Corey. Did Hiroti come back for the second half? The answer is no. No, he didn't.
If I'm being honest, no, he didn't. No,
he came off injured.
Yeah. He didn't really look 100% from the get go.
Yeah, which is interesting. That is interesting, Corey. He didn't look amazingly fit, and then hobbled off. So
see, I would have been a little bit more worried if we had started maybe Atkinson in center if Hiroti wasn't fit.
Yeah.
Just. Obviously, because Atkinson's not a proper centre, and I know that he's been a little bit defensively weak in that position. And I didn't actually realise too until the weekend that apparently Chris Vale is injured, so I don't think we could have played him.
Yeah, he wasn't in the. Yeah,
Yeah. So
Ghastly says Sione Katoa man of the match because of that insane catch. I got to say, Katoa was unbelievable throughout the whole game. Let me pull up his stats.
Can I just say?
Okay, here we go. You ready,
catch,
Corey? You ready for this?
Yep.
I don't think you're ready.
Ooh.
2 tries, 213 meters, 9 tackle busts. Now,
it's me.
It's interesting, dude, because our friend Dan at Fins Up and Laughing and Rugby League Outlaws, who is a good friend of yours as well, he has been going viral about Stone Street currently off contract, and it's a great conversation to have. I mean, Katoa doesn't have 10 years left in him, but holy smokes, he was good tonight. And it's interesting with salary cap and with budget and what you do, what you don't do. It's going to be fascinating. But I thought Katoa, for his second game since
the trial match.
Since a trial match. Like,
yeah.
What were your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I thought he was I noticed, especially last week, he wasn't his usual self, and I'm thinking maybe last week he wasn't fully fit, but watching tonight, how he always runs in line, spins, and then gains a couple of more meters, I noticed that about 10 or 20 times. And I just thought, and I knew from that moment that Katoa was on. I think, and he's here to win, and he's here to play. And that intercept, I actually said to my parents, I said, I think Katoa needs to be on the first plane to England to go and play for Australia in that Test Championship for Australia in the cricket, because he did pretty good in that. But yeah, no, I feel like he was, yeah. But I've got, between you and me, Sam, I was actually thinking about it today. If Katoa was fit and Stone Street's fit, I would potentially move Mulatalo to centre and have Stone Street and Katoa on the wing. That's just me.
You're letting Jesse go?
No, I'm playing Jesse in his centre and moving Mawini out, because if Kale's
you
out
mean
for the rest of the year,
sorry, I was thinking future. Gotcha. Yep.
No, yeah, like just for this year, like if KL's out, yeah,
right. I'm just looking around
me.
this room. I'm in, and there's lots of radio ads, which I'm not going to read out, for different corporations. It's very funny how it all works. I hear you. Yeah, that would be interesting move, Corey. That would be very interesting. Cam Oliver, who is a good mate of mine, who I last saw in Las Vegas, says Blake Brayley, 10 runs a game minimum, please. Let's look up how many runs he officially got. There would be a lot of line engagements, but 7 runs for 87 meters. That's almost career high, you would think, for him.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It is. Our friend Tony says, agree with Lush, frustrated beyond belief at halftime. Now, Tony does get frustrated. Improved second half, but the last 3 weeks have shown something is broken. Brayley Island is at capacity tonight. It sure is. It's bustling in here. Okay, so last 3 weeks have shown something is broken. How long, off the top of your head, Corey, how long do you think that period was tonight? Was it like 25 minutes? Is that fair to say, like in that first half?
Yeah, I reckon about 25. See, I reckon in that first half it was breaking, but it wasn't broken. Yes. I feel like we were slowly getting worse, and then I actually feel like that halftime couldn't come quick enough. I feel like halftime was a blessing for us.
Yeah, of course.
I reckon Fitzy went, put a rocket and sent them to the moon and said, boys, pull your heads out. And
yeah. I'm hoping that we'll find out what was said at halftime pretty soon. But
I hope so too, but yeah.
Lee Wee says, good to have a man in the jumper, number 2. Adrian says, Katoa and Brayley were huge tonight. Absolutely.
Yeah. Can I get your opinion? Who do you think was your man in the match tonight?
I can't go past Brayley, but obviously AFB was just remarkable. But I think Brayley, he was just really setting up some really nice attacking plays. He was very hungry. He was trying to get the penalties, trying to get the 6 agains. And I think it's been proven when he runs like that, we don't really lose games. So, special mention for AFB for sure.
Yeah, would you give it about a 7 or 8 out of 10 performance tonight, apart from that 25 minutes?
From the team?
Yeah.
Good question. I wouldn't be going over 8 or anything, I don't think. I think 7.5 might be fair, might be even a little bit, kind. But I didn't think it was like a 5 or anything. There were moments that were not great. I saw some moments where the 1%ers weren't being done, like when they were doing little tap-ons rather than passing, and a bit late to sort of jump on a ball, that kind of thing. That had me worried a little bit. But I thought overall they did what they had to do. And I really am impressed the fact that they were down by 12 and they got the job done. At that point, everyone was thinking the same thing. Like I was thinking it, you were thinking it, everyone was thinking it.
Yeah.
But to come back from that, and again, look, the Dragons, I'm not even being funny. Like they're just not a really good team. Like I saw it in the flesh. They're not a good team. No. So I'm not suggesting that most good teams wouldn't got out of that mess. Like maybe a Storm or a Penrith of old go on to win by 20. I don't know. But I thought they did enough to show some conviction. Brad says TTF makes a huge difference. Do you know what that means?
No.
TTF. You might have to help us out there, Brad. And Nulla Boy's having a go at my hairstyle.
Nothing wrong with your hairstyle.
Appreciate that. Kafusi said, Lush says Kafusi needs to be dropped. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Ghastly 10 says, haven't been a big fan of Ramium all year, but I must say after being binned, he came back to be, he did. Yeah, Jesse, to be fair, had a pretty ordinary first half, got binned. And when he came back, he ran a lot straighter. He was a lot more active, a lot more effective.
Yeah, definitely.
What else have we got here? So Lush has made a good point. He says, my biggest concern is we can't seem to defend our errors. I think every try tonight from the Dragons on the back of errors penalties. So we saw the one when Nico dropped it up that end and then the long run down. And that was from the sin bin. Sorry, that was what caused the sin bin. Is that right? From the sin bin? Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, okay, you shouldn't drop the ball. I get it. But why did they have to run 40 meters after that? Like, just make a tackle. So, I'm with Lush there. I think that a lot of the time, and you hear the coach say it a lot, we're our worst enemy. And I think tonight there was a lot of that. There was a lot of we're our worst enemy in those sort of down moments.
Yeah, I did actually notice one that kind of surprised me is, you just said then that with the Nico knock on, it took them 40 meters to run up the field, and then we finally made a tackle. But when they knocked it on, Nico went out and smashed DeBellin. Like, obviously the referee didn't call a knock on to the Dragons then, but Nico's just gone bullseye straight for DeBellin and just knocked him straight. Like, we need that more. Play to the whistle. Hit the bloke and then wait for the referee's call. But don't hit him late or high or anything, but just make the tackle.
For sure. Corey, we might say goodbye. I appreciate you jumping on. I'm glad you're in a happy mood, and it's been awesome chatting the last 24 hours. You appeared twice, so really appreciate your attendance and love the fact that you're involved with the show. So don't be a stranger. We might move on and see if other people want to jump on, but have a great night. Keep listening wherever you can. And we'll talk to you soon, all right?
Thanks, Emmy. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Corey. Have a good night. Up, buddy. All right. Adrian says a 12-point win. He would have been happy. After halftime, it wasn't looking good. The second half was a great exhibition. Glad for the win. Great second half. Lots to improve on. Yep, well said. I agree with that, Adrian. Hope you're well. Wesley says another tumor formed in that first half. It wasn't a good first half. Definitely not. And we need to talk about that. If you want to jump on like Corey and Ashley have, there's links in the YouTube and the Instagram. I need to go over the Instagram and say hello to everyone over there. It's frustrating I can't get the comments in one place, but that's okay. Crispy says it was good to get the win tonight. Hello to everyone who's joined. This is incredible. Matt says Blake and Sione, the Tongan fishermen, were huge tonight. First half was concerning. Better opposition would have gone on with it. Take the win, though. It's a very good point. It's a very, very, very good point. Our friend Matt, the bodyboarder, says after tonight's game, I'm still feeling a bit nervous about the season. I think we'll finish in 5th or 6th. I'm happy we won and got the 2 points. So fair enough. Hope you're well, Matt. Hope your family's well. Finn3 says, great to get the 2 points. It didn't feel convincing. What happened after the Melbourne game? We've not been the same since. It's a good point. I'm not quite sure what happened after that Melbourne game. I know that teams do lose games after playing Melbourne, but it's been a bit of a hangover now, hasn't it? Hello to our friends at the Shark Cage. I saw you guys walking in. I was driving past you. I saw you walking in, gave you a honk, but you probably just thought some random honk in the horn, which it was. But you had your signs and everything, and super appreciate you guys and girls. Hello to Charlotte from Mr. Paisley's. I will see you very soon. Matt gives me some praise for the haircut. I appreciate that. Jay says, Brayley was good tonight, but where was the support in the first half of some of those dynamic runs? I agree. I agree, Jay, that he needs more support there, but he was terrific. Glad the boys got the win, but need to be better for the next fortnight. Completely agree. Chad says Rabian was again underwhelming. Finn says our next block of 4 games will be tough. We will know where we are after that. So fair enough. Finn 3, but I'm saying 1 game at a time, and I'm being completely serious. 1 game at a time. The only thing you need to worry about is Brisbane. That is it. Brisbane Sunday week at Suncorp. Chad said Hines was, again, average. Our friend Greasy Smitty said Talakai needs to be a starter. Jay says, I didn't get why we were playing Hiroti when he clearly wasn't 100%. 2 good kids in New South Wales Cup should be playing first grade. Yeah, good point. I think one of them is injured at least. Hello to Dr. Cameron Webb. I think he was in the house. I was getting all these messages from all of our people, and I wasn't really looking, but yes. Oh boy. Josh Bolling is making my life hard. Just 1 second, everyone, while I text Josh Bolling. Can you... All right. Sharks win 30 points to 18. We've got some great comments here. Appreciate everyone. Cameron, Dr. Webb says, Blake was awesome tonight, but would have loved him to run for the break and not just offload. We'll take the win, but a lot to do over the coming weeks. Luke Perry has joined. Hello, Luke Perry. Hello, Josh Bolling. J-Man says, not pleased with this win. Complacent period once we start winning and give up the pressure quickly. Might look to bring Kafusi and Cam off a bit earlier to keep it rolling. Yeah, they're good points. Thank you so much. Jetto Barb says, up to Sharkies. Hello, Dana. Jay Brew says, Talakai to start in the centers gives us go forward, which we need to play up tempo. Yeah, all great points. Thank you, everyone, for that. Here comes some trouble here. Steve, are you there, my friend?
Hey, how you going, Sam? Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear. How are you?
Oh, mate, I've seen better performances by us.
Yes.
The crowd gave them what they deserved at halftime. They deserved that. They deserved to be booed off the field.
Yeah.
That was an appalling first half. There's some players out there. I mean, that first try of the Dragons from Damien Cook was on Cam McInnes for that flop down on the 3rd tackle. Not needed. Bad defence to let him score. Where they turned it around in the second half was us notice which forwards were on the field and which weren't. Kafusi was not on the field, nor was Cam McInnes when we scored those tries before Katoa's late one. The go forward was Vanilla Blake. It was Jesse Colquhoun. But there's a lot of players out there who still didn't put in that first half. And I mean, there was an offload by AFB, a great one to Nico Hines. He won't sprint. He will not sprint. He looks to offload. He does not put his foot down to run. And a halfback's job is to run as well. Oh no, sorry, a 5'8" job because he doesn't play like a halfback.
Yeah.
And if Fitz picked Hiroti injured, and Hiroti looked injured, I don't understand. We've got centres there. We've got Fiala and we've got Gabriel. They're the backups, and he doesn't pick them. And next week at least he can play them next week because we're only playing a team who's below us on the ladder again.
So I think with Vela,
But there'll be some
was
excuse.
unavailable at some point. I think he was injured at some point during the week, so that wasn't an option.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Well, Gabriel's available because he played against the Silktails.
Yeah,
I mean, but I know what he'll say. We're playing the Brisbane Broncos, and I'll say, yeah, well, the Broncos below us on the ladder.
Yeah,
but he won't pick them. He'll go and pick Talakai and make Talakai play out in the centres because he played in the centres in the second half because Hiroti didn't come back on the field. But they were just lazy in that first half. And
I think if Talakai can hold his defence, now it's an if, then I have no problem with him being there.
Yeah, but he's not a centre. Fitzgibbon won't pick the young guys. He has this thing about scared to death of picking anyone. I see the Bulldogs threw a 19-year-old out there on Monday.
Yeah.
We've got 19-year-olds. We don't play them. It's like they're not allowed to play. He has this thing about picking veterans. He does not want to play someone who's young. I don't know what it is. He won't do it unless there's an injury. He will not pick someone. And it's so frustrating.
I can hear that you're frustrated.
It's so frustrating.
Now I want to welcome Josh Bolling to the show. He's appeared out of the darkness. Here he is, Josh, and we can hear that you're frustrated, Steve.
Yeah.
Josh, tell us what you liked about that. Well, we've got Steve. Tell us what you liked about the game, and we'll get to some of Steve's comments.
Boys, how are we going? Yeah, I guess the thing I liked about the performance that we haven't seen a lot this year is the fight back, I guess, is the...
Yep.
I gave us no chance coming back in that second half, and then I actually saw a bit of determination and anger in the side that I haven't seen a lot in the past, or even a couple of this year. They actually came out and looked fired up and played fired up for an extended period of time, and they looked angry. And I think that's what was most pleasing was I completely gave up. I thought that the game was done. And I just to see them come out and just fire up, and we didn't give them a sniff that entire second half. Did they play the ball now 20 meters? I don't think so. And I think I've got to give them some credit for that because I've been rubbishing them the last couple of weeks, and deservedly so. But I will give them credit for coming out and showing a bit of steel and that they do care, because that first half was just unacceptable, frankly, diabolical. And I thought the second half was much improved against, a Dragon side that is pretty crap. But
so let's look at second half stats. They had 2 tackles inside the opposition 20. Elsewhere, I mean, they completed pretty good. They were at 92% in the second half. We had 4 line breaks to 0 in the second half. We had 6 offloads to 2 in the second half. We ran for 500 more meters, boys, in the second half. There's probably, what do we got? 155 more post-contact meters in the second half. And get this one, Josh and Steve, and SharkCast listeners and viewers. Second half missed tackles. Dragons 17, Sharks 2.
Wow.
So it was definitely a return to form in the second half. Now, if I go to the entire game, our completion is at 89%, which is really good. Theirs is at 91, which is really good. Overall, 5 line breaks to 4. We had 13 offloads to 7. We ran for 500 more meters. We had 120 more post-contact meters. We missed 23 missed tackles all up. And there's a few more there. Only 6 errors as well. So I think the shock of being down by 12 to this team that is not going very well, that was, I think, making everything look really bad. And I'm not suggesting we weren't bad for portions of that first half, but I don't think it was... I thought there was a way out, and I just thought we had to score first. We did. Steve, let's get back to you, sir. Tell me what you liked. You tell me what you didn't like. Tell me what you liked.
AFB. I mean, we had 120 more post-contact meters. It's probably 120 of his. JC again. Jesse Colquhoun stood up. He played off the back of Fanua Blake. Now, that's what Kaufusi has been supposed to have done all year, who's got, 100 more games experience than him and fails to do every week. Colquhoun played off the back of Fanua Blake, and he could make the meters. Brayley getting out of dummy half, Trindle's kicks. Trindle's kicking it. And Sione Katoa has added so much more that he's back. I like Stone Street. I actually could see a back three of Ronaldo at fullback and Stone Street and Katoa on the wings. That's where I'd go. But Fanua Blake, he led the way. I mean, Talakai played well, and Talakai had shifted to the centres. But that pack in the second half, when Kaufusi and McInnes wasn't on the field, is when we did our damage. When those two came back on, the only try we scored was Katoa's try. When he picked up the ball, that remarkable pickup, we didn't score any other tries. So those two don't add anything when they're on the field. Basically, and McInnes had a shocker's night, the penalty and then not playing the ball square. I mean, they're cardinal sins that you're told not to do.
Yeah,
outside of that,
I thought Stevie's effort was pretty good. I thought he was putting in like his stats are not amazing, and yes, the play the ball was terrible.
And the penalty, the flop was a bad flop.
Yeah, okay, I'm hearing you.
Yeah,
Tell me
especially when a team is struggling.
Yeah, tell me about my idea of playing Talakai as a prop exclusively. Do you like it? Do you not like it?
I like it. He has to be in the middle. I mean, then you've got your rotation with Jesse Colquhoun. I mean, you could have one of them play lock. Jesse Colquhoun or Talakai could play lock as well. I don't want Kaufusi near the team. In the first half, he didn't take a hit up for 9.5 minutes when the game started. I watched. I'm going to watch when he takes his first hit up. 9.5 minutes. I mean, that's not good enough.
I thought
it's not good enough.
I thought that Hamlin Welly off the bench was in a similar category. His stats are not bad, but I was looking for more impact there. And he came off for his first stint a bit early, and I think the sideline staff had a bit of a word to him, and the second stint was a little bit better. But I think there are a few guys there that, were probably outplayed tonight by a young Colquhoun, by a veteran like Fanua Blake. So I think the middles, it's still a work in progress as far as like what our best can be. But I was super happy for Toby Rudolph. The energy he brought. I've only got him for 4 runs for 50 meters, but that was more the way he did it and that the timing, it was great. I thought it was good, administration from the coach, bringing him on at that point. It was exactly what they needed, and he brought the energy. Steve, before we let you go, give us some more thoughts.
Well, I just hope we're ready for the Broncos. I mean, again, they're below us on the ladder, so we should go and beat them. I mean, they didn't make the 8 last year, and how we've got to play them, it's a given. Every time we tackle man, we've got to sledge him. We've got to get into his ear. I mean, I know you're not a big fan of it, Sam, but I am.
No,
I mean,
hey,
I know you just meant.
Don't put Sam in a corner.
I would be saying, I'd be just bringing up exactly what we did off the field. I'd be into Reece Walsh, I'd be sledging him, and just let him have it. And then it's up to, but we need everyone to perform. If we play like that in the first half against the Broncos, even though they're a subpar team, they will still put points on us.
Agreed.
We've got no excuse, none. This team has been put together. Fitzgibbon's job's on the line if we don't go well this year.
Now, Steve, you don't sound happy. We just beat the Dragons. You don't sound happy at all. At all.
Because you know what? As a kid, Sam, I had a dream of being a Shark supporter. I wanted one thing. You know what that was?
Yeah, what was that?
To beat the Dragons' record of 11 straight premierships. That's all I wanted. Sir. I've got one in 50 odd years. So what's going to take me? I'll have to live to 600.
You know what I'm going to say to that, Steve? You got one.
Good night.
You be thankful for that.
I know. I was very thankful when I won it. Hey, when we won it. So I won it.
We won it. I won it. You won it. Josh won it. We all won it. Right. Hey, thanks for jumping on. Really appreciate it.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for letting me vent.
It's a pleasure.
Cheers, guys.
Anytime, sir. Anytime. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Cheers, man.
Okay. Josh Bolling, how are you, man? How you feeling?
A lot better, mate. A lot better after a win. Coming good. How was it down there? How was the atmosphere? How was the weather?
Weather was fine. It was chilly, but it was fine. I mean, the crowd, as people would have realized, wasn't huge. It was 8,500. So still room in theory for like 3 or 4 more. But the vibe was okay. It was better than the Warriors game, the vibe, which doesn't make much sense. But the weather was fine, like just clear, crisp, not really any wind. There was a bit of wind in the second half. But yeah, for someone like yourself who's been under the weather, it probably wasn't the place to be. Crowd got into it second half. They're pretty vocal when they walked off at halftime as well. But yeah, give me your thoughts. What did you think about the game?
I was absolutely lost in that first half. I was really, really disappointed, and a couple of group chats, got a serving of my thoughts on some players.
I think I was in one of those.
Yeah, I was loving Steve off the back fence there, just ripping. I love that. I love the passion.
Absolutely.
I probably wasn't as critical. I think because of the effort and attitude that I saw in the second half probably takes away some of the anger that I had, because that's what we wanted to see the last 2 weeks. So I got what I asked for, right? Was actually showing some grit and some determination and saying, no, we're not going to cop this again. And frankly, I thought they were absolutely remarkable for about a 15-minute period there where we were making 70, 80 meters every set and they could not get out of their 30. And they were kicking into the wind in the second half. And we were starting every set on the 40 or 50 meter line and just like through the middle, just unstoppable. I thought, as Steve said, I thought Cole Hume was exceptional. I thought that was easily his best game in first grade. I thought maybe a bit of a coming of age game for him after last week. He was really disappointing. His ball playing is really surprised me at how good that is developing as well. There was a couple of, he showed it in Nico on the inside on a shape that he should have been running. Probably not as harsh on McInnes. I thought it had some really bad moments, but I thought he held the middle together, as he does, and was hitting hard defense. I was a bit unsure about the penalty or the playing the ball sideways, stuff like that. You see that 100 times a game.
Yeah, I think what didn't help was it was right in front of the ref.
Yeah,
and I think maybe they would have looked at it well, they definitely would have looked at it, but whether they would have pulled it back, I'm not sure. I've only seen it on the big replay screen, and I thought he was sideways and attempting late in the play the ball to play it. But I think the problem sideways. What did the commentators
The problem was that he didn't play it square, that he was standing side on.
Honestly, I think that's fine. I think that's I think it's the correct call.
Right.
By the letter of the law, what you see when guys do that, you're right. Like, you can get away with it, but when they're side on, it is noticeable. And from a try, I reckon the refs would have been pulled apart for that one. And I need to watch it back, but my gut instinct from what I saw and what you're telling me is that it was, by letter of the law, the correct call.
Look, you're probably right. There's just a few of those where it's like, if that gets let go in the middle of the field, why is it not being let go? Because of the try was scored. We know, like, it's,
what?
And even with the Trindle getting tackled, getting smashed off the ball when he kicks the ball, and that's exactly what Luai got pinned for last week. It was worse.
Yeah,
I just think the ref didn't let the game flow at all the first half, and surprise, surprise, once he actually put the whistle away the second half, we dominated, and he wasn't getting the Dragons out of their own end all the time.
Yeah, there was a bit of feeling that was going on. It's hard being the home supporter in the live crowd because everyone's thinking the ref's against you, etc.
Yeah,
but it felt like, whether it was us or whether it was the ref, or it wasn't the ref, but whether it was us with an influence by the ref, they were getting easy outs. And that's, again, like I said before, it was on us that we got them back into the game. Like, they weren't particularly good. I mean, for a while, they were sort of going set for set. For a while, it was very sort of Flanagan football. But, yeah, it's not like when they were winning by 12, they were playing remarkably. So
no, I think whenever we were going set for set, we were destroying them. It was just we drop the ball and then we give away a penalty, and then it's just silly mistakes like not wrapping the ball again for an offload. Like
the mistakes, Josh, like with the Nico one, like, okay, he drops it, it sucks, we're in good field position, but then they run 40 meters and we get sin bin. Like,
yeah, I know.
The mistakes just sort of, for some reason, become disastrous. Yeah. I don't know why. Ash, our friend, says, super happy to beat the Dragons. Glad they could get the win for Britt and Nicara. So go see Ash at the Shark store. She is in charge there in the store, I believe, manager type person, and she's amazing. Go see her. I'll get through a few comments here. Joshy Scott said, I thought Ronaldo brought some energy, which I thought he was incredible. Definitely. Absolutely incredible. Jacqueline says, Talakai was enormous. Absolutely.
Yep.
Danny says, disappointing game. The second half marks our terrible defense. It was only the Dragons. Next week is a test if we can continue with our season. So, I mean, yeah, I don't disagree with a bunch of that, Danny. I think it's a little bit, I think you're in the category of like, you're sitting back and you're like, come on, impress me. And okay, they didn't really impress you, but what they did is they won a game that they needed to win. And whilst they shouldn't have been behind by 12, they came back. So I think there's things there that we can appreciate, but I also understand what you're saying. Absolutely. Okay, Ghastly 10 has called me out. Look at this. You said no when I said to put Siffer at starting prop a couple of weeks ago. Well, first of all, Ghastly 10, I don't remember saying that. And there's no way you could ever prove it in this world. There's no way you could prove that I said that. I think you're a genius. Maybe you influenced me, but that's what I'm thinking. I think that he is just made for that role. He can play in the center. He can play edge. He's such a gifted footballer. I am so enamored with this guy, but I think that the fact that we're all looking for this different kind of prop that what we've got starting in the number 10 jersey, then I think that maybe it'd be not a Hail Mary, but it'd be like a surprise call up outside the box. But I think it actually could work. But maybe it's just one of those things that they do when absolutely needed. I'm sure that the response would be, you know what, we've got 12 other props in the club. So Josh says, did Hiroti get hooked? No, he didn't. He was injured. He came off limping, went up the tunnel. I'm assuming there's a very strong chance he was not hooked. He'd love to see Chris Fowler get a chance. Bradley runs over 40 meters and we win. Great to see a bounce back. Thank you, Josh. Absolutely. Our friend Pete, who's an OG, said, why was Hiroti even picked? He was a passenger out there. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe that was a late injury. Maybe it was a warm-up injury. I have no idea. Maybe he injured in the first minute. I'm not sure. Maybe we can find that out. But appreciate you tuning in, Pete. Wesley says Kafusi wasn't any good. Lots of half efforts in defense. And he would put him back in Newtown. Ashley from the store says, a cheeky plug. Ooh, here we go, Josh. The Pepsi jerseys are back in stock, in store and online in the Sharks store. So there you go. Cheap plug from Ash. If you want your Pepsi jerseys, they're back in stock. Now, Troy says, from an eye test, he thought Hammerwelly tried his guts out. And I agree. I just thought the impact was a bit different than last week, but I thought his second stint was better than the first. And I would never doubt the man's passion. I just think that with a bunch of these middle forwards, I don't know. I mean, I know what I want. I just don't know how to get it out of them week to week because I see Fanua Blake just, holy crap, Josh. That was Fafita-esque, obviously, but just he's his own man. He's his own superstar.
What about that run where he broke out of the tackle and just like shrugged him off and ran another 20 meters and bumped that guy as well? I was like, dude, what are we witnessing right now? Like, one of the great prop runs at Shark Park, that's for sure. This is my favorite of the night. I can't say the word, neither can Josh, but L. Joel Rose. L. Joel says he doesn't like the Dragons and we don't like him either. So if you're a little kid watching this, just turn away, pretend that didn't happen. I like that.
Steve wants to know where I am. I can't tell you. It's a secret. I don't think you're around anyway, Steve. That was Steve who was on before, wasn't it? Maybe it's a different Steve. I apologize. I get so confused. Scott says the team doesn't support Bradley very well. A lot of his breaks and half breaks go begging. We see what happened when Trindle pushed up, supported him, leads the points. Absolutely great point, Scott. And what do you think of Blakey, Josh?
Man, just unbelievable, right? Like the running, like we've seen Blake do this where he'll have like 3 or 4 really good runs in the first half and then it just stops. He did not stop all night. He was just running and scheming and jumping out and bringing guys on with him. And it was a little frustrating that he did the first, before the Trindle one, he broke through and he had Hines like steaming through on his left-hand side, and he probably scores, and he ducked the other way, went right. But I completely agree. I think we do not support him anywhere near enough. We don't have people sniffing around, and that falls largely on Will Kennedy. I think that no one's ever goes with him. I don't know if they don't know he's going to do it, but we need guys around him all the time, like Jesse Ramians and Sione Katoas need to be sniffing around him in the middle of the ruck when it's that fourth tackle.
It's quite unusual. It's quite unusual that there's not one guy, even when Stone Street there and he's the fastest guy in the club, no one's really known to do that. And I don't know why, but maybe they'll get the hint this week because he was unbelievable. Tell me what you made of Will. Will had some unhappy moments, and then I thought, and I'm not just being a homer here, I thought he fought back pretty good. And I'm not saying it made up for the bad stuff, but I thought his second half in particular, he ran hard and at least didn't drop his bundle. It was looking a little shaky there, but he's got to stop dropping those balls for starters.
I know. Oh, excuse me.
You're right, buddy. Oh, let's mute that.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
The drop balls, I don't know where they've come from. He's usually safe as a house, and
the one he dropped was easy, right, today?
Yeah, it was. And sorry.
You're right. Just you do what you got to do. Roberto says the next two games are away from Brisbane, Melbourne. You can see this is defining games. We do apologize for Josh. Josh has been on his deathbed all week. I made him talk for an hour the other day, and he's jumped on to his own devices today, and he's welcome to stay as long as he wants, but this is all on him. But I love the fact that he's here, especially because it looks like Gary Dover is stiffing me somewhere. But shouldn't have said that. He's not here at the moment. Dean says, love Ronnie's passion, energy, and effort plays. Here's a great question from Lush. Of course, Lush is a troublemaker. He's the Woody Woodpecker of our audience. Does your boy Val get the Dragons over the line tonight? No, I don't know. They were missing something, that's for sure. I don't know. JD says, Blake gets my vote for Origin 3. Thank you, Sam, for what you do. Better this week. We watched it on our TV in the living room last week. Oh, streaming live on YouTube. Up. Oh, yeah. Last week there was a few tech issues. Completely apologize about that. But, yeah, really apologize about that. But I'm glad it's going well. Hello, JD, and all people watching. And Wesley says it was a bad call on Cam, a clear head high straight in front of the post. Now, this guy left me with bruises today. This guy sits right near me. No, you won't be able to. It's fine. Hey, Josh, say hello to Gary.
Gaz, my man.
What is happening?
So you're good. Hello, everyone who is listening. Hang on, let's keep professional here, guys. Everyone's listening on the audio, and everyone's like, what the hell's going on? So Gary's joined. He was just checking his comms. But I was saying that Brendan Manahan sits right near me. Brendan, you got to stop bruising me like that. Every time I score, he's just like bashing me. Talakai stays at center whilst Iro is out. Proves Talakai has been on the field longer than anticipated. He's got a huge motor. Gary Dover.
Hello.
How are you, man?
A lot warmer in here.
Yeah.
Freezing down there.
Yeah, got the heater on.
But feeling good.
How was the roller coaster of the emotions and the event, and how was it for you out there?
Yeah, the first half I was a little bit worried at the back end of that, but I didn't think we were in too bad a position. I thought we'd made a few silly mistakes and handling errors and things like that, but I thought once we came out, the energy sort of shifted. I thought our bench was really good. And yeah, I thought we never were really out of it. We were always sort of in the contest, and we kicked on with it in the second half. So I was happy with that.
Now, this is Susie. Susie's in Melbourne. Susie's the second biggest Blake Brayley fan in the world. When I created Blake Island, she was already digging to find an island. I was like, let's have an island together. You have that half. I'll have this half. There's only two of us, and we'll call it Blake Island. But now it's just overpopulated, but we're okay with that. Unlike other world leaders around the world, we're okay with it because everyone's just in love with this guy called Blake Brayley. He's just killing it. What do you think?
Yeah, he was great. Obviously, when he runs the ball, we have a bit of energy off the back of that. And yeah, Fitzy said in the sheds, like, just got to run it more, mate. You got to run it.
Okay. You heard that. Direct. Now, do you know what was said at halftime?
I didn't go in the sheds at halftime. No, I had a few other things to do on the field, so I'm not sure.
Okay. We're going to bring in more Shark royalty. This is just getting out of hand. Here we go. Adam Barnes, can you hear us?
I can. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, I love this. He's
Sounds
on
like he's
on the
driving.
commute home. This is what this show is all about. I want people on the commute. You've missed Ash. Ash, Gary was outside and Corey was up in Queensland. This is what we want.
Awesome.
How are you, Barnty? What's going on?
I am good. I am driving home and I have to go into Dragons territory to get home. Well, the Illawarra side anyway. So.
Oh, that's not so bad. That's not so bad.
I am definitely looking forward to getting to the weekend and getting out with my kids and just wearing every piece of Sharks kit I have, just rubbing it into anyone that's got a dirty Dragons jersey on. So
now, without getting too personal, can you imagine Barnsley's wardrobe? It's just black, white, and blue,
stacked, absolutely stacked.
Because for everyone listening who doesn't know Barnsley, he's the. We'll talk about Ash before. Barnsley is actually the king of the merch at the Sharks.
I do give a fair bit away, to be honest, because there's only so much stuff I can have at home before the missus gets super upset. So there's always a Sharks fan around I can, give away some of my stuff too. So
thankfully your eyes are on the road and not on the TV, but Josh Bolling, who's wearing green for some reason, is pointing to him. Anyway, we'd like to know, Barnsley, what did you make of the game? Who'd you like? Tell us about the game.
Well, from where I stood, in between doing a little bit of work, obviously Adam and Blake were probably the two standouts for me up through the middle. With I thought Sione was amazing as well with his carries out of the backfield. I think he's got that little hit and spin down pat. And then, Talakai, doing the second carry or every time they kick to us. So, I was pretty happy with the first 15 minutes. And then pretty much the whole second half. It was interesting where I was standing. I could feel the southerly pick up at half time, and I thought, hey, here we go. If we get a roll on, they're not getting out of there and kicking into the southerly. I mean, Plano doesn't have a great boot, so he was never kicking it 50 metres into that southerly. So, look, just happy to get a win, and especially against the Dragons. The father-in-law will be hearing it from me tomorrow, that's for sure.
There's a lot of stories like that, Barnes, of just people just giving it to their relatives, their neighbors, their colleagues, sucked in. You guys are not very good. That's 10 in a row, Barnesy. Most in this fixture for either team. 10 in a row. You're a old school, near enough to my age supporter. That's unheard of, right?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. 10 in a row. It's like Queensland dominance. Take it.
That's right.
Every day of the week.
That's right. John says, great comeback. I relaxed at the 75th minute mark. Good to be back with a win, up. And we do give a shout out to Jason Hawes from Cripps Real Estate, who said, Bradley runs, we generally win. And Toby brought some great energy. Now, Gary, you're on the sideline. Tell us about the energy that Toby brought.
Yeah, as soon as he came on, you could see it sort of shifted. He wanted the ball, and as soon as he got it, he was running with a bit of purpose. So I think he's been missing it out there, and it certainly showed when he was named to come into the side, and you could just tell his energy coming into the stadium today was a bit different. And as soon as he went on there, he changed the momentum. I thought all our bench did really well. So, good job from them.
Absolutely. Barnesy, before we let you go on your commute, tell us, are you feeling better about the season in all honesty? Like, do you think now, okay, Derby's over with, Brisbane away, we got a bit more confidence, we know how to fight from behind, we can play with 12 players, etc. There's a lot of things to take positives out of here. Are you feeling a bit better?
I'm definitely feeling better. I think we're nowhere near where we should be. But I think it's easier to get to where we are off the back of wins. I don't think the last two games have, well, they've definitely dented the confidence. Kind of could feel that, I guess, when we were down in the first half. So yeah, look, the next two games are crucial, I think. Not as far as the 2 points. It just needs to be a close enough to a 80-minute performance. I think we'll get the Broncos off the back of Origin, which is definitely in our favour. And then, if you win that, then you go to Melbourne again with plenty of confidence. So, can I just have just a shout out to all your Brisbane supporters or Queensland supporters?
Yes.
The merch van is travelling to Maroon territory, so we'll be up there for next Saturday? No, next Sunday's game. So
Sunday,
come and see us. Yep, the merch van will be, I think it's the northern end, the Wally Lewis statue side of the ground. So
can we get a shark scarf over him, please? Can we get a shark scarf over him?
I'll do that for you, and I'll send you the photo.
Yeah, because it's like that's what you do, right? Like we're not picking on the king. We love the king, but you have to get a photo of the scarf on there. Okay, so all the Queenslanders or people going up to Queensland, of course, there'll be a lot traveling. Go see Barnsey at the Sharks truck. He will not give you a discount for listening to SharkCast, but he will give you a high five to tell him SharkCast sent you, and maybe he'll chuck you a sticker or something. Who knows? But Barnsey, thanks for dialing in. We appreciate it, and safe travels. Keep listening on the YouTube or wherever the heck you are, and we will talk to you soon, my friend. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Take care. Drive safe.
Barnes.
Barnsey out. That was fun. Now some responses here. We're getting through them slowly and surely. Now Lee says fans were booing at halftime. How do we feel about that? It was noticeable in the coverage. I thought it was for the Dragons. Now, full disclosure, I was out of my seat about a minute before halftime. I could hear it. Gary, you were here. Was it directed at our club? What was going on?
I actually wasn't out on the field. I was running in to do the halftime tile, and then I had to run out to take some photos of a halftime activation. I did hear the booing. I'm not sure what it was for. I'm sorry.
Josh, any indication? Was it the ref? Was it the Sharks? Was it us booing the Dragons?
I had stormed off for a little breather by then, so
no one can help us.
No, I'm sorry. I hope it was. I think sometimes teams deserve it, and the way we played, I thought we deserved it. And sometimes they can fire. I think you can use that as a team. If when you're in the sheds, you can go, did you hear the response that you got from your home fans? I think that could be useful.
I think that full time, if that's the result and that's the performance, I'm more inclined to being open to hearing that at full time than halftime. But anyway, I'm not sure. We don't know. I'm sure other people will be able to respond, but appreciate you being in touch, Lee. Wesley's not a fan of Oregon in starting jersey. Lee says we won a milestone game. There you go. There's a rumor out there we can't win milestone games. We won one. I thought Britt was pretty good. Gary, were you happy for Britt out there?
Yeah, he definitely had one of his better games of the year, and I thought, he needed that to build his confidence for this back half of the season. So I was just happy to see him cross for a try, and his defense was pretty solid. And yeah, he was running with a bit of purpose.
He was on pretty early. It was good to see. Dave says, great to see a bit more grit and fight this week compared to last week. Absolutely. It's all you can ask for in a team. They lost it for a little bit in this game. They got it back. I'm pretty stoked about that. Troy says, first half was shaky, but the second half was straight fire.
Has anyone touched on our kick pressure yet?
No, but you
still not happy with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought Flano had way too much time.
Yeah.
There were some points there where he would take 5, 6, 7 steps before he kicked it. I think we need to get that under control.
I saw it from time to time, but yeah, now you say it. Sure, I agree with that. Loki from Melbourne says our first half shows how far away we are from the top side. We currently we won tonight, but we're so far from our best. It's scary. I agree that we're far from our best. I don't know if it's scary for me, but I appreciate what you're saying. And let's see what happens next week. I mean, I don't want to put all that pressure on anyone to say it'll show where we're at. I'm not a huge fan of that statement, but I completely understand it. But also, let's see what happens next week.
Just flip the scary bit, and it's scary how good we can be if we put it all together.
I think that's what he's saying as well, to be fair. Appreciate you, Loki. Hope we see you in a few weeks.
Saw Ben Harlem downstairs.
Ben downstairs, was he? Yeah. Did he remember the words of the song?
I hope so. I wasn't watching.
Ben Harlem, our good friend from New York City, he's in the house. Yeah, he came over and gave me a hug, so I do appreciate that. That's cool. He's with family. He's a pretty busy guy, but I'm glad that he wasn't busy enough to go sing the team song with the boys. Now this one's interesting. We love the rumors that fly around Shark Stadium. Have we heard anything about Jai Gray being approached to join the club? I personally, honestly, hand on my heart, have not heard. I've heard rumors of things, or not rumors. I've read people's comments saying, "Oh, teams would be interested in him. One of them might be Cronulla, one of them might be da 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 da." But honestly, I've never heard anyone in the club say, "Oh, we're looking at Jai Gray," or "I haven't seen him hanging around." Josh, would you feel okay if Josh Gray came to the club?
I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago on the pod that I would really like him. I think when we played South, I mentioned that I really like his game. I like his work rate. I know he's only a small little thing, but he plays above his weight every week. I would not be opposed at all to just having him at the club and then just figure something out later. Like he could play off the bench if you needed to. I really like him as a fullback.
Okay. Alex said, now the dust has settled, is the Sharks' dominance in local rivalries at 10 in a row killing the spark of the derby? And then he said, the crowd didn't seem like a derby crowd. I want beef and hatred. I was thinking about this early on. It's a great question. Thank you so much, Alec. It's a great question. Before you guys have your say, I was thinking about today and I was like, what is it about this fixture now that's not quite the same? And it was obvious. It was, they don't turn up to play. Now, to be fair, they turned up today for a half and they were pretty good in their own way. And they tested us. But I think that is something that's a bit less exciting, as we're a pretty good chance of winning. And that's amazing and that's great. And I don't really want it to be the other way. I'm happy to just beat them for the next 100 games. But if you think back to sort of the Gasnier eras, I'm talking Mark, not Reg, for our older listeners, they sort of had the wool over us and we'd win one of every 4 or 5. But that was exciting because we'd beat them. We beat them. They won the comp in 2010. We beat them, So it just depends what you want out of a derby. But I can see that there is a little spark missing. I think the small crowd is based on the last 2 performances. People are telling me it's about the cold weather, and I scoff at that. Scoff. Now, I know that Gary wants me to hit this next one, so here we go, everyone who's watching, people who are listening on our audio. Shark Cage, who are our good friends, said Gaza on fire with the camera tonight.
I got some good shots tonight.
What were you using to do these shots?
Canon,
of course.
Had a couple of Canon cameras they sent me, so got some great photos of the Shark Cage and all their signs. I'll put those up too. I
was saying before,
some atmosphere cranking down there.
Before when I drove in, I saw them carrying their signs and walking along and everything. So, very impressive.
Got the drums, got the megaphone, they got everything going on. So it's really.
What's really great is they're really nice people.
They're awesome. Yeah,
they're not kind of angry. They're not exclusive. They're just nice people.
Love the Sharks. We love them,
which is great. Now, where are we here? Okay, Dave says Fitzy moving Acco to 8th man for the extra forward seemed to work. I agree. Jared says our dominant second half attack man out defense wasn't tested for the last 40, which was great, but leaves many questions next week after the bang average first half defense. That's fair. That is fair. We were looking at possession before, and boy, it's hot in here, isn't it?
So hot in here. I feel like I'm about to pass out. Went from extreme cold to extreme heat.
The lovely people, actually, I won't go into it, but someone else was using it. Anyway, Jared, great point. I only had to point out the heat because I think I'm about to pass out too. Can you do something about it? Where's the remote?
I don't know.
Maybe we'll just battle on. Jared, thanks for being in touch. Appreciate it. Completely agree. We're going to be tested next week with our defense.
I'll be back 1 second.
All right, Gary, back. Lucky Day says, love Alex passion. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Shark Cage said, I think the booing was a bit of everything, our performance and a few decisions by the ref late in the first half. Yeah, that's fair enough. Everyone just being a bit out of sorts. I need to jump over to Insta because I'm just ignoring those people, which I shouldn't be doing. I heard a beep go off. That's good. It's so strange because Gary once saved me from heat stroke by working the AC, and tonight he's potentially going to save me from heat stroke. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, now on the Insta. And while we have you, we said this the last few times, everyone who's watching, if you could just give us a like, follow, subscribe, wherever you are. If you're on the Insta, give us a like, a follow. Give us a follow. If you're on the YouTube, give us a follow. We're going to live through this thanks to the great Gary Dover. Matt says, booing for the ref at the ground, I thought. Players got a massive serve by one box patron as they went up the tunnel. Have a go, you cats, was the gist. I wonder if that was my friend Mark. Well, you know, you buy your ticket. You're allowed to do that sort of thing. He also said, something about the crowd. Question for Gaz. Not sure if he can answer from NS. Oh, boy.
Here we go.
As a Sharkies employee that often gives very firm take, do you get any pushback from the players or club? Love what you do, mate. Is that in response to you on here?
Must be. This is the only thing I do.
Okay. What's your answer?
No, I don't.
They love it.
Unless they're talking about you behind their back.
No.
Sometimes they just need to play better.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if he's talking about... Oh, yeah, the players. Yeah, I'm just so confused because I'm about to die from heat stroke. Thanks, NS. Appreciate you. We get pretty good support. We're cool. Now, Luce says, everyone talking about it being too cold needs to come to a game in Melbourne in the dead of winter. See you in 2 weeks if you dare. It's a good point. Now, Alec is back. Alec's sort of like the writer-inner of the night, potentially because of the love he's getting from everyone. I'd love to see Hohepa Puru at 14. The Atco era is over. Hohepa would offer a fresh attack off the spine of attack as a sub for Cam. Yeah, I mean, I like him a lot. I'd like to see him get a shot. Josh, I think that, do we have too many like ball playing locks for the time that we have 80 minutes of football?
I'd like to see him get a shot just to see what he's got. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
There's only one way. I mean, he might be a bullocking, you know, charging through the line. Like, size doesn't always mean everything. We've seen that with many players over the years in NRL. So it can't hurt just to see what he's got. Because if Acco's only going to get 10 minutes, give the 10 to Puru. Just see if there's anything there worth investigating future wise. Is he signed for 1 year or 2?
Bless you. No sneezing on the podcast.
It was a cough.
I don't know. I think has Hohepa got 1 more year?
I couldn't tell you off the
We
top
know
of
his
my head.
brother's got another extra year. John says, heard Trindle's on report. Oh, that was a cough. I apologize.
It was a cough. It
No
wasn't a
coughing on the
sneeze.
pod.
Got to do it sometimes.
Does anyone know what for and what the likelihood of missing next week's game from Trindle? Josh, anything from the TV coverage?
I don't remember him doing anything off the top of my head. If it was in the first half, I was all at sea. So I
You're all arms and
Have we discussed Jesse's sin binning?
not
No,
exactly.
that was
I
Let's
couldn't
talk
BS,
about
see
that.
right?
it properly, but I thought it was absolutely
So
garbage.
So the breakaway play, they tackle him. Was it just for holding down? Is that right, Josh?
Yeah, but Gutho like surrendered, so like he's entitled to hold him down. Like they didn't call
Britt,
surrender.
wasn't Britt on top of him? So that Britt was on top of him. As soon as Britt got off, Jesse got up and spun around and then got sent off.
I thought it
Anyway,
was a really bad
Watching
call.
the big screen replay, I thought it was a bit touch and go. But Dave said the late hit on Kyle Flanagan for Trindle. Was that the kick?
No,
Late
that
hit
was Trindle getting hit, not
No,
it might have been a different one.
Appreciate it though, Dave. Now, Wesley says Fitzy in the presser said he thought it was an okay first half. So, okay. I need to see what he says, but I thought the first 5-10 minutes was fine. Just the next 25 to 30, not so good, but that's okay. That is okay. What was the vibe like out on the field, Gary? Because it was a smaller crowd. I thought the atmosphere was better than the Warriors game, even though there was 3,000 more people here, because that was just dead atmosphere. But I thought tonight was a bit better. What was it like for you?
Yeah, like it definitely felt not as full as it could have been, but you could tell the energy lifted when we started to get a bit of a roll on. And once we do that and the crowd starts getting into it, it's a bit of a snowball effect, right? Like we start playing off the back of that, feeding into the crowd. You could see the boys playing it up to the crowd a bit. Like they love all that stuff. So we could definitely feel it in the second half. That's for sure.
I thought actually visually it looked okay after about 10, 15 minutes. I'm not sure people rocked up late or whatever, but even though it was only 8,000, so we could still fit 3 or 4 more in. From what I was looking at, it didn't look horrendous.
It didn't look like, completely empty, but yeah.
Our friend Loki in Melbourne's got a cricket update for anyone. So spoiler, Pat Cummins has a 5-for in the World Test Championship. Now, Gary, that means I think he's got 5 wickets.
That's exactly what that means.
In an innings. That's pretty
Well
good.
done, Sam.
What's the record there, Josh? Like 6? What would the record be?
In one innings?
Yeah.
Oh, I think someone's got 10 before. I think someone's got...
What?
Got the whole
In
team
one
now, I
innings,
love
yeah.
that.
It would be very rare, but people have got like 8 and 9 and stuff. It's happened a couple of times.
Okay, well,
But 5 is
there you
good.
go.
That's like the bowler's 100.
Now, as far as I'm aware, Josh is the cricket expert on this podcast. Definitely
Indeed.
tonight, let alone I think in what we do. As Luce says, what's cricket? I don't know her. So Sharks win 30 points to 18. Is that right?
That's exactly correct.
Now, how are we feeling about next week? I'll go to you, Josh Bolling. How are you feeling about the Bronx? So we got Sunday week, so a little bit of time to recover, which is good.
Yeah, it's the edges for me. I know they've got Payne Haas and Pat Carrigan and stuff, but it's like that edge defense with Katoni Staggs and Shibasaki is where I'm concerned. If we can wrangle those guys and keep them under wraps, maybe Sif is not the go. He'd be defending Katoni Staggs, and I remember the last time they shaped that up, he gave him an absolute bath. So I'm not sure what the solution is there. Maybe Sif is better than putting someone on debut on Katoni, but it's gonna be a challenge. But I mean, playing at Suncorp, I think we like playing up there, and the bright lights, and there'll be no excuses from a Broncos standpoint, having Walsh back and Mam and Carrigan, Haas, blah blah blah. I mean, they've got an amazing list, so if we can go up there and get a win, we might just be able to turn the tide a little bit and get some fans back on board who have sort of lost a bit of faith. So bring it on.
Now, Loki's replied and said 3 players got 10 wickets in Test cricket history. There are 3 forms of cricket. Test is the oldest, and there are 3 players. Lucio also says if the Bronx are wearing the black jersey next week, he's terrified they were legit. I think he's talking about the jerseys, making them legit. They're pretty badass, the black jersey.
I really like the black jersey, but also they were just playing the Titans, who I don't rate very highly.
They're not going too good, the Titans. So, Sharks win. We will be probably in 5th place at the end of the round. That's correct. At least we're solid
we'd be
there.
around that.
And Sunday week, we go to Suncorp. It's going to be a huge game, huge build-up. But I'm actually happy, not only as a podcast person, but also for the team, that there is a bit of a break there.
I obviously joined very late.
Yeah.
What's everyone saying about Ma and who comes in and all that sort of stuff?
Oh, it's mixed. People want a debut. They want Chris Vela. Steve, who you've met online, Steve was very passionate in talking that, not a quote, but a paraphrase quote, saying that Fitzgibbon just doesn't blood young guys, as in like doesn't debut them. He's just not his thing, and that's his opinion. But other people are saying Siffer. Brendan Manahan is his team. He's saying Siffer should be there. I'm a bit confused personally. I don't have to think about that one because I've already said I want Siffer to play prop. But what do you think?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's why I was thinking, wanted to hear from the fans to see what they think. But
Josh, what do you reckon?
I'm just worried about Katoni Staggs against Siffer. If it was anyone else, I think I want Siffer there while Kale's out. But
so how would you feel if it was a kid that's never played first grade before, no matter how good he is?
That's the conundrum. Is that would it be better to just roll the dice with Spiff?
Yeah, I think I lean towards that, yeah. But just for the experience and, you work on that. You've got a few extra days to work on that.
We know how hard he can hit Sifa. If he gets you with one good shot, he's got you second guessing a little bit, looking up to see where he is, all that sort of stuff. So I feel like he's got to be the one there.
It's going to be interesting.
You want to debut a kid at Suncorp against Stags and that red hot Bronco side? Is it maybe detrimental to debuting a Gabriel or a Vayala? You got to think about these things as well.
I mean, Mikey G has played rep footy at the lower level, at the under 19s, under 18s. He's played Origin and that kind of thing, I'm pretty sure.
It's got a bit of mongrel about him.
So I'm not saying I wouldn't back, and they've both been in the system for a while, so I wouldn't say I wouldn't back them in, but I think it's a bit of an ask. Hey, at Suncorp, come out and do this. I guess you'd prefer it to doing it in Melbourne on debut.
Well, yeah. It's Nick Meaney. It's not Katoni Stags.
This is true. A few more comments here. Alex said Cummins has got his 6th, so all of a sudden it's cricket cast.
I'm fine with that.
I'm sure no one's taken that name before, cricket cast. Loki says Mikey G is an absolute gun center in the making. Talakai is 12 kilograms heavier than when he was a center for real. But defense, he does struggle. Yeah, we know that, Loki. We know. We're just trying to work it all out. But we know the pros and cons. Appreciate you pointing it out, of course. That's your opinion. Mark says, crikey, what a roller coaster that game was. Up. He's a big supporter of the show. Appreciate you, Mark. Yes. Okay, I didn't know this, Ash, but our good friend Barbara has been unwell, so we give her a shout out. Absolutely. We send our love to Barbara. So if she's not watching, make sure, Ash, you point out where this is, film it, record it later on YouTube, whatever, and send it to her and tell her that we're thinking of her. Loki says Billy Burns could be an option at center. Josh, what do you think about this?
I think it's the same problem as if that lateral movement. He's a bit, he's a bit more nimble, but he had, when I don't think he's ever played center in NRL, from what I know. So it would be a risk.
I don't mind the suggestion. Says move in, but Talakai has the experience at center with Ronnie. Yeah, I think that's the way I lean. As see what happens. We'll wait, but we might sort of, because it's getting pretty late. Matt's, I need to know he's playing with a busted leg. We know that for sure. So, and Cameron said, yeah, for a few, not at his healthiest. So appreciate that. We're not putting any slight on him. We like Hiroti. We're Hiroti guys, but
I'd have Ma there every day of the week. But
he's very reliable.
Off and he's icing his calf. It doesn't look too good for now.
He went straight up a tunnel. Yeah. It wasn't a form thing. He just went straight up the tunnel. So, Daniel also says Talakai has a combination with Ronaldo. Don't blood someone at Suncorp. And I'm guessing he's going to say don't blood someone at Amy Park. I'm going one game at a time. I'm a hypocrite. Who do we play the week after the bye?
I'll have a
just
look.
Make it up quickly. If you don't know.
It'd have to be the Dolphins. No, I don't know.
Josh is going to look it up.
That's a very random guess. I'm so sorry because I'm
could be a Dolphins.
Wrong. No, it is the Dolphins at home on Friday.
Okay,
let's go.
So you could potentially, well, their backline's pretty good too. Most teams are pretty good.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get going, but we appreciate everyone jumping on. We've had a ball. It's been a great occasion here. The Jersey Flag won. We should point out. I believe Felix is doing a lot better. Big Felix, who's a cult favorite, was knocked out pretty bad. And I was a little worried. It didn't look good, but then he got up. He walked off with some trainers, and the word that I got was that he was doing okay. They obviously monitor that, and they ended up winning pretty good in the end. It was a struggle for probably 50 minutes, but then the Sharks kids ran away with it. Some really good young players there, so hopefully we can keep some of those. And Loki, and
see that guys like Riley Pollard have been playing up in the Jet system when they come and play that great.
Yeah. Ford as well was really great. Sam the Lock is fantastic. There's a bunch of really standout guys who, if they play their cards right, and if the Sharks play their cards right, you could have some future first graders. So they're a way off, but it's certainly very exciting. Loki from Melbourne says, safe drive home, and we'll see some of you in Melbourne. So that's exciting. Sharks win 30-18. Local derby is ours. 10th straight win. I'm pretty bloody happy with that. I know it wasn't perfect. Don't at me. I'm just happy because I don't like those guys. One last time, we're going to ask you to, whatever app you're on, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, and we would really appreciate that. Whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's something else, we appreciate it. It all helps spread the word of the pod. We'll be back with more episodes before you know it. You know that. We know that. We can't wait. Hey, Josh, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. You're fighting out of that deathbed. I appreciate your fight. You're like the Sharks. You're coming back. You're out. You're gone. Your season was over, and you came back, and you won by 12
Big Sexy
points.
got my health back. I love that man so much.
Katoa was good. I know we got a wrap, but Katoa was really, really good. Like,
I just needed to get that in. I needed to give my man a wrap. I love that man so much.
Yeah, we all
a good sequence of about 60 photos in a row of when he made that break, and I held it down and followed him in. And it was unreal.
Yeah, I bet. He's really come out of his shell as a human being, I would say, in the last 3 years, specifically this year. When I say that, I mean public persona.
Yeah.
And to the point now where he's a really good interview and he's all about promoting himself, which he should be because he's a entity in himself, very popular figure. And you can see it out in the field. Like sometimes players do that and it doesn't go the right way.
Yeah.
He's just playing out of his skin. Like he's a very reliable winger, and it's going to be a really interesting conversation to have when you look at your wing depth and you got guys coming off contract and you've got a really thin salary cap. I mean, I'm more confused than ever about what's going to happen with contracts, specifically this year, going into next. And we'll talk about that during the week. We won't talk about that now, but I'm super confused about that kind of stuff. NS says, thanks, Sam and team. No, we thank you for being SharkCasters. Appreciate everything. We're going to get going. Hopefully I can hit end stream. Last night we did one with Brooksy and I couldn't hit end stream because of my browser or something. And so we were just there like idiots. And I'm just going, yeah. And he's just like making puns. And I'm just like, oh my God, it's just so embarrassing. But love Brooksy. He's licking his wounds tonight. He was texting me all night, all above board. He actually predicted Sharks 22-18. It was looking that way for about 20 minutes. But we had a lot of fun. We're out of here. Josh, stick around just for a second. We'll say goodbye, everyone. Appreciate you. Tell everyone about SharkCast. Spread the word. Like, we're doing okay, don't get me wrong, but we can always have more people. So up Cronulla. We are the best team in the world. We are the best team in the Sutherland and St. George district. And we'll leave it to our friend Adam, who said, never in doubt. Up Cronulla. Actually, you know what? I think there's a way. Everyone hang on and sing the song. Don't go anywhere. You ready? Let's go.
Up, Cronulla, the boys in the black, white and blue. Up, Cronulla, name of the Sharks fit you. Sharks, forever. Go out and play without fear. Now's the time to see good football, for the Sharks are here. Now's the time to see good football. For the Sharks are here. Up the Sharks!